All right, friends, it's time for Sunday with Timber. I know I look forward to that, and I'm guessing you all do too. So, Timber, welcome.
Good morning. Thank you. I always, just speak off the cuff, so to speak, and whatever comes to me. And strangely enough, the first song this morning, it brought up this sense of irritation we have with one another. That line, come on, people now, smile on your brothers. It's like, come on already. What's wrong with you? Why aren't you doing it? It just brought this. I don't know why that line, come on, people now. It's that same reaction I have that other people have as well when the line isn't moving as quickly or someone's not pulling their weight. It's like, come on, really? Is this so hard? And it made me think about compatibility and how often we blame and shame someone else for not meeting us where we are, whereas we're also failing to meet them where they are, if that makes sense. And I was recently hosted, I was giving a talk in Oregon, and I wanted to contribute with my host family. And I told them that I make my own cashew milk, which they're like, well, what do you need for that? I'm like, well, just 4 cups of water and half a cup of raw cashews. I'm like, great. And we go to the store, we get the cashews. There's, of course, water at home. We get there and I'm like, all right, where's your blender? They're like, oh, we don't have a blender. It's like, are you kidding me? Come on, people. It's this idea of we're not, we don't pause to wonder whether someone has all the tools with which we can make it, we can have all the ingredients, but um, I'm picturing people trying to build a house and you're just there hammering away and you're looking at the person next to you with their hands in their pocket and you're getting really frustrated with them and you're like, why aren't you helping me? Why am I doing this alone? And they're like, dude, I don't have a hammer. It's like, oh God. And I clearly don't have patience, or the willingness to ask, to be vulnerable enough to say, I'm feeling resentful that I'm doing this on my own, whatever it is that I guess what I'm trying to say is that there's always a tool with which to handle every situation God, the universe throws at us. But that doesn't necessarily mean that everyone has the same set of tools. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised that God doesn't work in mysterious ways by not giving everyone the same set of tools. I would say that that's exactly the intention, is not giving everyone the same set of tools so that we reach out to one another to help each other, to contribute so that we are compatible. Reminds me of that old story of the town where one farmer grows potatoes. You know the story of stone soup, and like all they ate was potatoes until one day, one lady in the middle of town, I could be butchering the story, just started a fire and put a big, is it called a pot, a cauldron, whatever it is, a huge pot, and she put a stone in it. And they're like, "What are you making? Stone soup? Well, what's in it?" Well, stone and water. Well, I have potatoes. Why don't I add potatoes to it? Well, someone else says I have carrots, and you get the idea. Ultimately, eventually, the whole town contributes to this wonderful, huge pot of soup that they can all enjoy instead of each one of them just eating carrots or potatoes, etc. And so I really think about these spiritual tools as potatoes, carrots, things that we were gifted, things that we have, but to never assume everyone has the same set. We weren't all given a full box of crayons, so to speak. Some of us just have 3, 4 colors, but someone else has the other color we need. And together we can come and create a great, beautiful picture that's not all black, that's not all red, but all the beautiful colors of the rainbow. But it takes us, come on, people now, come together. this, this, why aren't we? And I think perhaps because some of us in our tool sets have fear and apprehension and worry and concern. And that's in our toolbox. And that's the tool we use most often. And so we're scared to come together. So we can't even get frustrated with someone for not coming together. I used to get very frustrated with friends who not only refuse to do whatever it takes to make their own lives better, but they actually continued making decisions that made their life situations even worse. And from the outside, of course, the answer to the problems often seemed so simple. It's like, hey, just leave that toxic relationship, for example, or stop spending money you don't have on things you don't need. Sell that extra car or boat that's sitting unused in the driveway. Eat more of this, drink less of that. You get the idea. From the outside, it's so clear. But then I realized that nobody will choose to let go of what they still believe has value. Nobody will choose to let go of what they still believe has values. If someone is refusing to quit behavior that is clearly detrimental to them, it's not because they don't want to improve their situation. It's either because they don't have the tools with which to build something new, or it's because they still find value in the dysfunctional relationship, for example, or that terrible job, or that unhealthy habit, or that junker in the front yard. Even if the value is not apparent to an outside observer, there are many elements other than pure logic behind people's decisions. There's sentimental value. There's a mindset of scarcity. There's identifying with the ownership of certain things, with fears, with anxieties, and so on. I remember there's a song by Bjork from, I want to say 1993, from her first debut album. I think it's called Human Behavior. And she says, if you ever get close to a human and human behavior, be ready to get confused. There is no logic, and the compass wouldn't help at all. They're terribly, terribly moody. And all of a sudden they turn happy. And so this idea of that there are reasons other than pure logic for people making the decisions that they do. So as a rule of thumb, just remind yourself that nobody will choose to let go of that which they still believe has value until they either finally see it as worthless, or better yet, they see the value of letting it go. So when we're talking about, come on, people now, Smiling Brothers, get together. It's like, that's only going to happen, if we're afraid to come together in community or just as relationships, as couples. If we're afraid and someone says, hey, why don't you come together? They have to first see the value of letting go of that fear before they can fully embrace the value of coming together. I don't know if that makes sense. And I know that this is applicable politically, this is applicable socially, romantically, in so many ways. There are things that are holding us back from, come on, people, come together. There are certain things holding us back. And so it's detrimental for us to even urge people to come together without first understanding what it is that's preventing them from coming together. Like the first monastery I went there because I was curious. I was interested and I wanted to learn more. And I built a connection with the teacher and I really liked him, but I didn't quite fully embrace the chants in Tibetan and the way they practice things. And some of the things just didn't quite add up. But the community itself applied what felt like a lot of pressure on me to not just continue coming and learning a little bit here and a little bit there. They've pressured me. They're like, you need to take refuge with us. You need to become one of us. And that exact pressure is what prevented me from doing so. And so it was only through the one-on-ones when I actually spoke with the teacher and I said, this is what I like and this is what I don't like. This is what seems really inviting and this is what doesn't. That he himself said, maybe this is not a good fit for you. Maybe you need to try something else. So it's like trying to get orange color out of the green crayon to draw the sun and getting really frustrated with the crayon. It's like, maybe I picked up the wrong crayon. Maybe maybe I need to set this one down, but I love this one. Okay, great. But it's no longer beneficial to what you're trying to accomplish today. So I guess what I'm saying in conjunction with what Rachel was inviting us, which is to live in gratitude and to live with love. It's not always about what we have to add to our lives and read Don Miguel Ruiz and come to Sunday service. Those are all wonderful things. But in conjunction with that, simultaneously, what do we need to let go of? In fact, I don't think we can take more on. What is it? You can't embrace today's blessings if your hands are still full with yesterday's worries. So, but the worries served us so well. The worries protected us in the past. They prevented us from getting burnt again. We don't want to fully trust someone. Of course not, because when we did that last time, we got burned, we got hurt, and we don't want to get hurt again. But the person in front of us today is not that same person who hurt us then. So is it actually helping us to hold on to that worry? Or is it working against us? It's so difficult to let go of that which we still believe has value. So I think what I'm saying, if it makes any sense at all, because it's all coming, I don't know, is that we have to see the value of letting go is just as valuable as that we pick up, because we often get stuck on thinking how something improves our lives, but we lose sight of how our lives might improve if we let go of that thing completely. And I'm going to try and say that again. We often get so stuck on thinking how something improves our lives, we lose sight of how our lives might improve if we let that thing go. And nobody can walk that path for us. We have to take those steps ourselves. Nobody can tell you, hey, let go of that fear, let go of that insecurity. It's like, it's that same tone of, come on, people, now. It's like, wait, let's find out what's preventing you from letting that go, and how can I make that easier? And so we need to stop shaming someone for not being there yet, but perhaps use their situation, acknowledging and seeing their fear as an opportunity to reflect on our own blind spots, to sweep our own front stoops, and stop telling people, you know what your problem is? Because that sentence has never started a healthy conversation. Whereas I know what my problem is has often led to tremendous growth. That's, I think, all I have for you today. I hope it's enough.